Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by Deborah Tetley from STARS Air Ambulance, and she's here to talk about a new podcast that's taking listeners behind the scenes of STARS rescue missions. So, to you, Deborah, I'll say thank you very much for doing this and welcome to the show. But what can you tell our viewers just about this podcast?
Hi, Tate. Thanks for having me. And, essentially what it's about is we're so lucky that after we care for patients, we carry them in our helicopter or care for them at the side of the road or in hospitals, they reach out to us and they thank us and then they ask if they can meet their crews. So we do everything that we can to facilitate, them meeting their crews and being able to say thank you or hug them or, whatever they need to do as part of their journey. And then inevitably they share their stories with us. And these stories are not just what happened, you know, prior to their incident or their illness, but what happened along their journey, what they remember from, the care that we gave them. And then, you know, more often than not, they talk about all the things that they're able to do in life after that, goals and milestones and, life experiences that they got to have after being cared for. And so these stories are always so rich. People are so emotional. And we just really wanted to try to find a different way to showcase some of these stories. Obviously, we can't tell them all. My bosses won't let me have a full-time job doing podcasting, but there's just some stories that need a little bit more than a video or a little bit more than a story or a post on social media. So we wanted to just find a way to share these stories and be able to tell people a little bit more about what we do as an organization. I think a lot of times people just see us, they see the helicopter and they know that we're in the air and that we're picking up patients. And really, there's so much more to it than that. And, that includes everything from, the witnesses on the ground or the person who makes the 911 call or the dispatchers who decide that, we're the right people for the job to go and then imagine caring for patients inside a helicopter and all of the tools and skills and techniques and everything that goes into caring for these very critically ill and injured patients. So we just wanted to find a way to share that story in a different way and take a little bit of a deeper dive.
And talking a little bit more specifically, obviously, we don't want to spoil too much for anybody who is interested in listening to the podcast, but this first season of the program does follow a single experience. So, could I just get you to provide a bit of a teaser on what people can expect from that?
So it's a bit of a cliffhanger. So you kind of have to keep tuning in to find out how it's going to end. Without giving away too much, obviously the ending is super fantastic for our patient. But there is a twist to it. So essentially, this biologist is working in a very remote region in northern Alberta, and she's attacked by a cougar. It's a horrible attack, and we had to include graphic warnings because there's just some pieces of it that were so harrowing. Anyways, she's attacked. There's electrical storms in the area. Communication is awful. It took them many, many tries, her coworkers, many, many tries to get the call out to 911 to get us there. There was a little bit of, dodgy weather in the area, and we don't fly or put our crews at risk if, they're not going to be able to make it out and back. So we had to find a window that we could actually get out there to find her. And, the roads were all washed out from the rains. And so initially they were going to send a ground ambulance, and it would have taken the very least 2 hours on good roads to actually get to her. So, we were determined to be the best mode of transport. And that's how these calls are always triaged, right? What's the best mode of transport and care for this patient? And yeah, and then we just talked to all of the people along the way, and not all of them, the majority of the people along the way who helped her, from the first coworker who made the 911 call to the folks at the scene who applied first aid and really made a difference before we were able to get there. And we speak to the pilots and how they made the decision to fly. And, obviously it was in the dark and in the mountains, so we needed night vision goggles. So we talk a little bit about the technology that we need to use to actually get to these patients. And then we interview the paramedic and nurse who cared for her along the way and talk about her injuries and her pain control and all of the things that we had to do to help her survive.
Thanks so much for your time today, Deb.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for reaching out.